If you have non-allergic asthma, you can actually treat it by taking care of your health. I'm Jeff, and I managed to control my asthma. Now I'm helping my fellow asthmatics become more physically active. So what triggers non-allergic asthma? It can be triggered by exercise, stress, and respiratory infections. It means lung infection. I actually have 2 life-altering incidents when it comes to those triggers. I'll start with my first basketball game when I was in high school. I was really competitive when I played basketball with my friends. My lungs didn't adapt well when I put in a really intense movement. And in that moment, where I really tried hard to the point where I was forcing my lungs, even though I was breathing heavy, I still did it because I felt like I could still carry myself and I wanted to stay competitive. It hit a tipping point where my lungs just couldn't take it. What I remember is I was just holding on the railings and I was just focused on my breath. I couldn't think of anything else. My vision was darker than usual. I have a very dark contrast. The sides of my vision became very blurry, just like when you're seeing a screen shake on a video. So I just focused on holding on the railings, catching up to my breath. I noticed my friend was really concerned and he was looking at me. I underestimated it because I'm a physically active person and I got used to my asthma not getting triggered by exercise because I do it frequently. But now, I was really inactive when I got into it. That was the fuck this event for me. I said no more, and I'm going to treat my health seriously. I'm going to treat my body seriously. That was my main motivation, that I went from a super skinny kid into doing competitive stuff like winning a race, winning a cardio contest, and climb the tallest mountain in the Philippines. The second pivotal moment in my life, it was a viral infection that got into our office and made us all sick. And that virus went into my lungs and triggered my asthma. That caused me to have a sick leave because I couldn't work and I couldn't sleep. That made me serious about this YouTube channel. I want to help my fellow asthmatics to lower their asthma symptoms because I know how hard it is. Of course, we get a lot of regular asthma attacks, but you get one of these really severe ones that hit you out of the blue where you really couldn't breathe. So let's start with stress. We can control stress by having hobbies because hobbies not only incorporate movement, which decreases stress, it also gives you an atmosphere of community. You can talk to people who have the same interests as you, which would make your mental health better. So what really works for me in controlling my stress, I say no to a lot of things. I protect my time on the things that I really want to do, not because a person requested me. I don't feel obligated to say yes to all of the requests. I say no a lot. And having a really good sleep really helps a lot in controlling stress because your mood improves. And by personal experience, I feel better once I have good sleep. If I'm awake, I would journal to organize my mind because anxiety are just looping thoughts that haven't been led to a conclusion. So journaling helps with that because you can vent on paper, which is way better. Venting on paper would be way better than venting on people because people will tell your secrets. Paper doesn't. If I feel like I really need to leave the house, I would go for a walk or I would run. The second trigger, which is exercise, we can address it by having some form of movement, a minimum of 30 minutes a day. So when it comes to exercise, start where you are. If your lungs are inactive, just like what happened to me, I didn't exercise for a long time and then suddenly I went intense. That triggered my asthma. But in order to improve our lung health, we should start where we currently are and then we slowly increase the intensity. But for now, just start with being consistent. At least walk or have a form of movement for 30 minutes a day. When it comes to the third part, which is the viral infections, if ever I do get infected, I do everything I can to reduce the symptoms, just like reducing the lung inflammation. What I mean by that is when your airways swell and have mucus on it. Asthma is an inflammation of the lungs by definition. So reducing inflammation does not cure asthma, but it helps in reducing your symptoms once it occurs. When it comes to lowering your whole body's inflammation, avoid refined foods like sugar, fried food, trans fat, alcohol, seed oils, artificial additives and preservatives, artificial sweeteners. You can take supplements that help lower inflammation, which is omega-3 fatty acids helps reduce inflammation. You can get this from fatty fish and it helps reduce airway inflammation. Glycine is also anti-inflammatory and makes you calmer. Vegetables with leafy greens and turmeric helps a lot. And there's also a free biohack that you can use to lower your overall inflammation, which is earthing. I have no evidence when it comes to earthing yet, but what I do know is it lowers your overall stress and it feels really good when you do it. It relaxes you really well. Lastly, you should get your asthma action plan, top link in the description.